It is the Saturday night before Easter. I just came from the Easter vigil at my church, and I'm having flashbacks of the times I would take my mother with me to church. Not even with me, but I would take her to church. I just came from her place. I went to drop off little gift cards for every one of her aides. A little thank you card, because it's a holiday. And one of her aides was there early, which is nice. I like that she comes at, for a couple hours to just kind of hang out. She's a widow, so she doesn't mind hanging out with my mom. And you know how it is. Not quite a flying monkey, but they don't know, they don't realize it's a covert narcissist. And so they're buying the manipulative lies that the covert narcissist is telling about the one that they have been abusing for 54 years. See, I wasn't abused as a tiny child. It didn't start till I was 5, and I started to have my own opinions and my own personality, and I wasn't merely an extension of her. So I'm 58, about to be 59 in August. And I don't want to sit and explain. I don't need them to understand why I don't spend time there. I check in, the bills are paid, the aides are paid. It's clean, the property's cared for. Not to my standard, but it's cared for. And this is the aide who comes up with solutions. Hello, honey. That my mother will never go for. Get a hospital bed because your mother needs to turn herself. And of course, my mother doesn't want anything good that works. That's not her idea. If it's her idea, yes. I've tried the hospital bed idea. It was a wonderful idea. And she shot it down. So I'm done fighting the battle. This is the aide who insists that she has this mechanical chair that will lift her and put her down. And I said, she's not going to let me replace her sofa and put her on some mechanical chair that she's going to be uncomfortable in. I mean, I have that much compassion for this person. It's called my mother. And so when the aide suggests these things to my mother, instead of her saying, no, I'd rather just, keep what I'm familiar with, she blames me. She blames me. Oh, no, my daughter will never go for that. Oh. Well, she's busy. I don't like to bother her. It would be too much for my daughter. As if she's so considerate of my time. So when I went to drop off the stuff, the aide was there. I wasn't expecting her to be there because I don't like to run into them. Oh, there's a few of them I really do love, but I'd rather not. Plus, if an aide is there, that means my mother will be speaking, and I will have to hear the shushling and chuchling. I told you about my misophonia. Her SH and CH sounds are so pronounced. It's like nails on a chalkboard, and I cannot listen to her speak. When I do arrange, once in a blue moon, not too blue of a moon, for a few months, I'll arrange for family to come over. I have a snoot full. So I could tolerate. It cuts down on about 3/4 of the pain of her shushling and chuchling. So no, I don't like to be there when the aides are there because I don't want to hear my mother speak. I don't want to hear her bossing them around and being horrible. But I had to drop these little cards off, and she was taking a nap, the woman. I'm like, oh good, I don't have to see her, but no, she heard me, and she comes waddling in. with a judgmental face. A judgmental face. I said, oh, there's a card there for you. Then my mother's saying, oh, blah, 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 Zoppy tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. You know, my aunt. Who's going to be there? I'm like, I'm not really sure. Oh, who's going to cater, blah, blah. We don't have it catered. My 90-year-old aunt makes the ham and everything. And the ade's like, oh, who's this? I said, oh, my father's sister. Her sister-in-law. With a judgmental face. Like, Now, I could engage her and say, is everything okay? Is there something on your mind? But then I would have to have a conversation with this person. If you've ever tried to convince someone that your covert narc is a narc, oh, I say narc, I'm sorry. My godson and I, because we're like experts in the cluster B personality disorders. He dates them. I'm descended from them. We call the narcissists narcs. It's hard to convince those in the pathological narcissistic space that the narcissist who is a covert narcissist is a narcissist. I don't want to. I want to go in and get out. And I wish I could say her puss face, the AIDS puss face, didn't bother me, but it bothered me enough that I have to now open my video with my complaint. My complaint rant. Your mother has a bed sore. Heavy Italian accent. I'm not good at it. She's 2. I know. She's getting medication. We're keeping it clean. You're here. End of story. End of discussion. We're not getting a hospital bed. Now, it's a good idea. I would love to. I had this fantasy of sneaking it. When she's in the bathroom, being like, go, 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 and having movers there and this whole plot. I'm not going through that. So let her try to convince people that it's my refusal to get her the care she needs. Oh, I don't want to bother my daughter. And my frustration will wear off because I'm very busy. A lot going on. But yeah, the judgment, the way they look at you when they take the narcissist side. I mean, that is your mother. You've heard that one. I mean, it's your mother. And then they'll wax poetic about, oh, my mother was a saint. I sure wish if this were my mother, and I always want to say, and sometimes I do, if this was your mother, you wouldn't survive it. You're not as strong as I am. Oh, I don't mind. Your mother's so sweet. No, she's not. Give it time. You'll see. Mother's so sweet. In the beginning, they say that. So anyway, I got a judgmental puss from one of the aides. Well, enjoy the little gift I put in an envelope for you, judgmental puss. Oh, that's my daughter. Even though she's busy, she's so considerate. I'm considerate of myself. If she were in her 70s, maybe it would be different. Even if she were in her 80s, it would be different. She's 90, frickin' 9. Few months, she'll be 100. She cannot take up any more of my life. I'm almost in retirement. So no, she cannot have my life force. I take care of things over there. She's fine. Judgmental puss. So church, because I was having flashbacks. Only since maybe 2019, was it 2020, that I have been a very faithful and consistent churchgoer. I was religiously promiscuous for many years. I was raised Protestant. When I say raised, my parents didn't go to church. I could barely beg them to come to see me sing in the choir at my little Christian Reformed church. And then, I started reading New Age stuff and science, Omni magazine, and, I fell away from the church. Was a Buddhist for a couple years. But then when I went to study philosophy, I loved my religion courses, and I became more religious again, but I was not devout until I converted to Catholicism in 2013. Yes, deliberately. Yes, I chose Roman Catholicism. But it took me till 2019, 2020 to really start practicing it. Praying every day, going to church every week, faithful on the holidays. So now, flashback to when I was still doing things with my mother, like taking her out in the world. She had a cane for a while, and then it was a transport chair that I would push around. Christmas Eve, she wasn't like a weekly churchgoer. For Christmas Eve, I would have to find a church service to go to that had songs she was familiar with, because if they sang songs she wasn't familiar with, she would complain about it during the service out loud. Oh, the embarrassment I have suffered over the years in public with her, making scenes. Or during the sermon. In Catholic Church, it's a homily, right? The other places, it's sermons. Making comments, rolling her eyes. Why is he talking about this? This isn't what church is supposed to be about. The year she was doing that, it was at a Christian Reformed church, and the reverend was pastor. I don't remember what we called him. Not a priest, a leader with a collar. Was talking about how the humble birth of Jesus, and how the stable was dirty and full of lice and it smelled like manure. He was just trying to make the point that it was a lowly birth. Oh, the comments coming out of her, and I'm like, okay, don't you shush me. It's the middle of the freaking sermon and she's making comments. Oh God, I was so humiliated.
I didn't know any of those songs tonight. What kind of Christmas service was that?
The lessons in carols would be good. The churches that have lessons in carols, because they're familiar. I think one year I managed to get her to one of those. But every year it was something. So many Christmases ruined from childhood to recently, sort of recently. And on Good Friday, she wanted fish for lunch. In honor of our Lord suffering on the cross, she wants her fish on Good Friday. But that was the centerpiece of Good Friday, was the fish. So she would want to go into church and just sit there and read from the Bible or the hymnal. Not loudly, whispery. So the only thing I could hear was the shushling and chuchling. No words, just shushling and chuchling. Because she can never just be silent. So, back then when I was still taking her around and about, I would bring her into the church. And she'd do her shushly chuchly prayers or reading or whatever she was doing. And I suffered like the Lord. I would even think, well, this is my cross to bear, God. I'm doing this for you. and have to take her somewhere for fish. And and she'd complain about the food. She complains wherever you take her. She just complains. The only thing she would ever really like was diners. Like, Ma, it's frozen fish with frozen vegetables that have been thawed or can't sitting in water. Like,
I don't like that restaurant. It's garbage.
something I would pick. Some nice place. Or halfway decent place, like Bonefish Grill or something. Even Red Lobster, which is, it's a chain restaurant. At least they had pretty good seafood. Oh, the complaints there. Oh, the complaining. And so, the relief of being able to go to church. I'm not mad at you. You just can't sit at my feet right now. The relief of being able to go to church alone and enjoy the homily and enjoy the service and do it faithfully without her. It's so nice. Christmas, Easter, every Sunday, holidays. Oh, beautiful church. With only the sound of the choir and the service itself. Miserable Christmas Eves. Just miserable. And then I'd have to bring her to my aunt's place, where she would complain about the church service. Not even God could do anything good enough for her. Not even the Lord.